So in this lesson, we're going to dive deeper into all of these events that we're able to trigger off, and maybe instead of the on click, we're going to do something where whenever we hover over something, whenever the mouse is over, we change it to one value, and then whenever we leave, we can change it to another value. So let's try that out, and maybe we'll attach it to the my image. So the first thing that we want to do is set up our variable, because this is probably one of the best ways to interact with these document objects. Especially, it saves us the trouble of having to keep calling into it, especially if it's static and it's not going to be changing. But if you are working with forms and if you are changing things, then you may have to do another route in order to make updates and changes. So if you've got a form and you're making some changes and you're grabbing that information, you might have to do it within the function itself whenever the event gets triggered. So for this one, so my img, and I'm going to access document, and again we're going to just do a simple get element by ID, and the element that we're grabbing is the my image. And then for the image itself, what I want to do is set that whenever we hover over that image. So I'm going to put all of these declarations here at the top, and I'm going to break this apart a little bit. So instead of a click for the my img, we're going to be looking for, maybe we've got some mouse events here. So we've got mouse down, enter, leave, move, out, and over. So some of these might sound similar. So mouse enter, mouse over. So mouse over will continue to fire off while we're over top of it, but mouse enter fires off the one time. So just show you what the difference here is between the different mouse events. So we're going to do on mouse. So we'll do on mouse over first, and how about we do my function 2. And then for the function 2, what I want to do is I want to set up, maybe we can do a console message. And the other thing that might be interesting is maybe we can pull out and get some information about where the mouse is actually positioned. So we can do that as well when we pick up. So looking at our entire object here, whenever we're loading it, we do have some information about the mouse itself. We can pick up that event information, so we're just going to pass it as an E, and we're going to output in the console as E as well, and show you what happens here. So open up the console, and now every time the mouse is over, we're triggering our event, but we see we've also got some event information here. So we've got our client X, client Y, so we've got the position, we've got the type of event that happened, so that was a mouse over. So we can actually list these out as well. So if I wanted to list out what's happening, what triggered this event, we can see that I can list out that type. And just like with anything else within the DOM, I have access to all of this information. So if I want to pick up my coordinates of the mouse, I've got my X and Y coordinates, I've got my target, so I can figure out where I am, what target I'm over, and just a whole lot more information. So the event object is actually, it's different than using this, because this gives us just the content of this particular item. So if I do something like console log this, or maybe I can do a console directory this and refresh it. So we're actually, whenever we hover over, we get this object, which is that initiating element contents of there. So we've got all of this information, so we've got access to it. So of course we can get the ID this way, and we can also assign more events to it if we wanted to, and just really a whole lot more we can assign to it. And then also, of course, we can update the styling. So if I wanted to do something like this, we know that this is that object that sent us to this function, on the mouse over. So I can do this style, and I can update maybe the background color or something like that. Or that's actually not going to work out. So maybe I can do a border. So let's do border, and we're going to equal it to 1 pix solid black. And refresh it. So now whenever we hover over it, or maybe I should do something like red so it's more visible. And now whenever we hover over it, we get this border. So opposite of mouse over, we need to do another one maybe for mouse out. So instead of on mouse over, on mouse out. And for this one, maybe we'll do fun 3. And for this function, maybe instead of red, we'll do black. And update it to 3, so it's more evident what's happening there. So let's see what happens now whenever I go over, red, out, black, and so on. Of course, we can also update the output. So we can update the output of, maybe we want to put the mouse position X, and we'll equal that. So again, looking at our mouse event, we have client X information. So we've got also X down there. So all I have to do is EX to get that coordinate. And I want to do the same thing here. So I've got EX. So now we see that mouse X values are changing as we're moving around. So wherever we're entering in, we're seeing we've got a mouse X value and then also an X value where we're leaving. So we have a better idea of where the mouse is coming in, and we have a better idea of where, at what X coordinate the mouse is leaving. So all of this information is available to us, and we can really build out on it via the DOM and JavaScript.